Hello people, welcome back to 40 Wings Let's Play Part 3. This time I want to talk about a topic that is more chill, not about apocalypse. But one thing I still want to mention about the apocalypse I forgot last time. Nowadays they also use earthquakes as a technique for modern warfare. If you look, there are statistics, there's an exponential increase over the years in heavy earthquakes that are happening. And I think Turkey, for example, I think it was 2023, was doing something that went against the US and so on. And then suddenly they got a very huge earthquake. So I think this is part of the modern warfare. But this video shall be about the effects, the mechanics of semen retention. Why does semen retention work? And therefore, obviously, as well, what are the benefits of semen retention? Because I am like a scientist, I was putting a lot of thought, effort into how semen retention works and analyzing this over the years. So let's see. One thing I just learned yesterday is deeper the mechanics of the third eye. This is one of the important aspects because you have to understand that on semen retention, you accumulate energy in your lower chakra and you don't release it. And therefore you push it into your higher chakras, the energy. It gets transmuted. And of course, one of the higher chakras is the third eye. And the third eye is the witness, the all-seeing witness that is present in every human. And it's like God himself because it has no attributes, it's just a witnesser. And everything else, how we act differently, depends on our own traumas and our own characters, basically. These are individual, but the third eye sees it all, and it's our consciousness. And we pump the spiritual energy into the third eye by staying on retention. And this absorber, you have to understand, our body is just the avatar, it's not us. This whole trauma and thought patterns and how we were raised, this is not who we are. We are just the consciousness. We are all technically just God, aspects of God. And so when we are on retention and we stay away from urges and we have discipline, our avatar and brain basically gets back to default, the way it should be. We are no longer preoccupied in our subconscious space with urges, and therefore we are completely at peace and we don't need to achieve anything with anyone because everything is already within us. And then we are not performative anymore because we feel completely at peace with ourselves. So this is how we channel our higher selves. That is not anymore acting out of any distraction or urge or lower desires. And it's already within us. Normally we just don't have the access to it because there are so many other layers that we are operating from them. But the higher self already always is within us. And you have to understand that our brain has all the information stored. There's a lot of information, and we normally just don't connect the dots. It stays in our subconscious, or even, it's called subconscious, and there are different layers to it. I think the superconscious is the opposite. The superconscious is where we are all connected as humanity, as far as I'm not wrong. But the subconscious stores a lot of information that we are not aware of, and this is how we form our reality based on what is in our subconsciousness. And if we are staying on semen retention, our brain operates on a higher octave, basically 100% brain capacity, like also shown in the movie Limitless. And we can use more of our brain, more information gets automatically connected, and this is how we can understand more stuff, also channel more wisdom with our crown chakra. Okay, this is definitely an important aspect. We get into the flow state if we are on semen retention because we are not preoccupied with other thought patterns. Let's see. Our drive gets higher if we restrain and not always deplete ourselves. So we get more urges, and we therefore get also more energy, because a drive transforms automatically into energy, and our subconsciousness, if we don't always watch corn and everything, tries in the real world to achieve what we are not compensating for anymore by doing the corn and everything. And so our subconscious is then primed to make us achieve stuff in the real world, get the female attention in the real world, general attention, more power, more money, whatever is necessary to achieve stuff in the real world. This is what the brain does automatically if we don't always subconsciously have other thought patterns going on that are lower. This is how we can stay fully present in any interaction when our mind is not distracted, and we enjoy every interaction more because we don't have any cheap fix anymore in the meantime. So we are looking forward to socialize. It has a much higher importance when we are on retention. So we can basically enjoy life much more freely and be much more in the moment. And normal stuff, again, has more value, and we are not only always focusing on hyper consumerism. Okay, one moment. The sun came out. I need to close the window a bit so I can see my screen better. But it's true that the power lies within the drive. This is why I already saw multiple times on Reddit people who are addicted to corn, basically gooners. I don't judge them. If they're addicted, they're addicted. But if they experience semen retention, they get the strongest superpowers and benefits within 1 or 2 days. It's completely crazy because they're so not used to it. So this is a clear sign that indeed stronger urges transform into greater power. And this is why I not necessarily recommend to stay on streaks for a year or something without completely circulating your energy at all. I think it's necessary to circulate your energy from time to time. Wise people know that. Because, for example, on YouTube, I was listening to an interview of a guy who did semen retention, NoFap, when it was very new, when not many people knew about it. He was interviewed about his 1-year streak, and he told his crazy experiences that he had in the beginning with all the attraction, and that later it got less. He says, yeah, I still get them, but not to the same degree. Well, this is a clear sign that your NoFap power is diminished. Then people say yeah, but we don't do NoFap for the attraction. It doesn't matter. The attraction is just a marker of that NoFap works. It's just one indicator. So you can imagine that every other aspect also will have less strong benefit. So this is how you know you need to sometimes circulate your energy. You also push your energy up to your throat chakra from the lower chakras, from the sacral. This means your voice gets more deep, more melodic, and you are more outspoken. Your voice has a stronger impact, positive, on people, so you can easier command. People will listen and respect it and make it work. You channel your energy into your heart chakra. You get the purity of heart, a pure heart. This is why children like to be around you when you're under retention. And this is why everyone acts positively with you. When I see people on long streaks, like you're not alone, and they tell me, yeah, but people are backstabbing me and hating on me, this is part of the journey, then I know that he is not on his optimal power anymore. His streak got too long and he should circulate his positive energy somehow, honestly. Yeah, because my experience when I'm on NoFap is that everyone treats me very, very well. Because I am super positive, and so I mirror only the best aspects back to other people, so they see their own goodness in me without the negativity, and this is why they treat me all good, because I don't have any negative micro reactions, because I'm not performing and I'm completely at peace, and I have such a very balanced emotional state where I'm smiling and my eyes just emit positivity and love. you know, you appreciate women in a different way. If you are staying on the retention, because you have still natural attraction. It doesn't go away even when you are not living in lust. But because you're not shameful, because you're not watching porn and anything, you can completely own this attraction, and you can appreciate it, and you can appreciate the woman without feeling shameful. So you can look them into the eyes and they see that you think they look good and whatever, but you do it in such a mature, grounded way, completely not animalistic, completely grounded, and they love this. They love to get the appreciation. And your pupils get wider when you are on NoFap. This is what I always do to check how high is my energy. I go to the mirror, I look into the mirror, and I see how responsive my pupils are to every little micro change. If I get, look from one eye to the other, or move a little bit more into the light, and so on, and I see how quickly my pupils dilate, and that they are in general more delayed than usually. This is when I know I'm onto something and my energy is going on. This is such a fucker here. Such a fucker. What the fuck? I hate this guy. He's placed in the worst place. In general, this game really annoys because they always make everything in such a way that it's difficult to get onto any platform. You always fall off it. I don't know why they made it that way. Anyway, yeah, your pupils. And your pupils have a very positive effect. First of all, they're delayed, and when people see this, they think, it's like a choosing signal from you. It shows that you perceive this other person as relevant, and this is why your pupils get delayed. Relevant, or women will also interpret it as I am attracted towards them. So they feel seen because your pupils light up, you're fully having the presence, and then also they are super responsive to everything. They directly contract or delay based on every micro signal. So this is all like vitality, and this gives a very positive effect. This is how that works. Basically, you look a bit like you're high even though you're not high. Because of the pupils, I mean. And you get the face glow because all the vitality from your semen, semen produces life, and all of this vitality gets pushed upwards and also absorbed into your body. So your skin gets very shiny, but in a natural way. It just glows. In the face, it's obvious. Your entire face structure gets an uplift. And your smile is very peaceful because there's no negativity, super non-performative. You can breathe deeply, you're not stressed, you're not tensed up, you're super chill. So this has all a positive impact, and you basically emit love and peace, and people are seeking this, especially in our modern world and with all the stress and with all that is going on. You're just a source of peace, and this has a very positive effect. You are on the higher discipline, and it's not easy to stay away from everything day by day, even when maybe sometimes it's boring, and you still force yourself to not do any crap. And because you're on this high discipline, you feel like you deserve more from life, and you have the will to take it. Also in social situations. So you're not passive anymore, you're very decisive, and you will make stuff happen if you want to. For example, get a girlfriend or whatever. And because you're so present and hyper, especially me, I'm also hyper vigilant, but the presence is something that you always can be calm and collected, even under stress. It makes people want to not mess with you and not create issues because they know they will fail, because you're so like a lion, basically. You can always get back on them. And like I said in the previous video, also you get spiritual support. Yeah, okay, your magnetic field gets bigger around you, energetical magnetical field, so you have a stronger impact on other people, and this is why you can just enter a room and everyone will turn around and directly look into your eyes, because they feel that something shifted in the room, that something new is there, they directly feel your presence. Let's see, solar plexus, of course. Solar plexus is part of the lower chakras, it's just the third chakra, but still, even there you get more energy because you channel it up, you accumulate more energy in general. Even the sexual chakra, the lowest chakra, the sacral, the lowest is the root, but whatever. even the sacral chakra, of course. People feel this, that you have tension there, and women can be attracted to it because it's sexuality, raw drive. Of course, this is attractive to them. But this solar plexus, it represents your will and the power, and that you can make stuff happen. And of course, if you have more energy there, you can also make more stuff happen. So of course, this also has a positive impact. Yeah, because you have a higher drive, you can work out easier, it's effortless because you have so much vitality, you can lift much more weights easier and without feeling weak. You have no weakness in your legs because you're not participating in any fapping or whatever. Because fapping honestly can create weakness in your legs. I realized that when I did it, I couldn't work out my legs properly because they were so sore and stiff. This is such a crazy level, honestly. I love this level, even though it's difficult, because it has so much stuff. This whole Titanic storyline is cool. Okay, yeah, you also get limbal rings. You get stronger limbal rings. This is also a sign of successful nofap energy when you have them, and they are statistically something that women consider attractive. They make your eyes basically look like they are spotlights, like the pupil is the spotlight or something. It's attractive for both genders, not just for women. Everyone thinks it's more attractive if you have limbal rings. This is something to keep in mind. By the way, it's also more attractive if you are a bit cocky and you can swear a bit and so on. Women love this. This is why I always am fine with swearing. I don't care, because I know it's attractive in general. Even though it's considered rude, of course, but who cares? No one cares. Okay, yeah, like I said, you emit life force and healing energy. It's also the vitality, but yeah, talking about it like life force and healing energy is very good. I mean, even your hands have chakras, and when you touch someone, you send energy through your hand palms. I already realized this. One time I was putting my hand on someone's head while I was also high, so I had more heightened perception, and I felt like there was an energy sending, basically. What is the right word? I sent my energy there. That's basically what I was trying to say. Yeah, and so of course people feel this healing energy. Yeah, the body regenerates quicker when you have a high energy. Your immune system is boosted. Everything is boosted. You easier, like I mentioned already in the past video, can get money because, for example, when you're trading, you are so emotionally balanced that you will not panic sell stuff and so on. You have a clearer mind. But you also just, the universe helps you, God favors you, you will find randomly money on the floor, you will find someone dropped by mistake 20 euro or whatever. Stuff like this. All the time stuff like this can happen. So this is the metaphysical part of the whole situation. You think, if I can master to restrain myself from my urges, then I can master anything. And this is how you can drop addictions, and you can be very confident because you have this mindset. And this also applies to work. And then employees, if you are on a job interview, for example, will pick you up on this, and they will trust you and think, wow, this guy can do something, and they will take you for the job. This happened for me in the past when I was taken for that one startup, for example. Oh yeah, the brain processes information quicker when you are at 100% brain capacity because you're not distracted by other stuff. I mean, I literally realized the opposite. If I would indulge in any urge, edging, or I would relapse, my brain would mess up. Sometimes I would talk and I would use the wrong word, and I would only notice afterwards, or I wouldn't even notice, or I cannot concentrate, I get off. Such stuff can happen. I remember one time oh my god, I was relapsing, but to save for work material because I thought maybe it's fine. And then I did it repeatedly, and at some point, it was still Corona back then, and I needed to get a Corona test, and I needed to show my personal ID to the young woman that was there. And then I gave her the wrong card, and she was like, "Ah, this is the wrong card." But everything was fine, and I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I took out the other card to show her, and it was still the wrong card. And then she looked very ugly at me, very judging. I mean, I still think she is the bitch here because she should not judge someone for messing up twice, even whatever. You don't need to be hostile because of this. But yeah, this happened in such a state, and it was embarrassing, and I was not being able to properly think. On the other hand, when you're on NoFap, I one time explicitly saw how the entire time slows down. So this is because your brain processes quicker, and therefore you have more time to think, and time feels slower compared to how other people would perceive time. This, of course, gives you a benefit. Just imagine you would fight or whatever against the person, and you process quicker every movement. Then he does not even have enough time to think, and you already know 10 steps ahead how to beat him. This is what I mean. So this can, of course, help. It's like a natural doping that you get from all the vitality and so on. Yeah, in general, you get more peaceful when you are not indulging in hyper consumerism like gooning or watching porn. And because you get more peaceful, you can appreciate normal stuff again, like a movie or something. You slow down. You don't need the hyper stimulation anymore. And it feels so good, and you feel like you're on the right track. You can appreciate everything anymore. You can walk out, then you hear the birds chirping, and it sounds so divine, like you never heard before, like you hear the birds for the first time. Sometimes I was even hearing birds, and I felt like I can hear what kind of emotions they communicate, like what it is about, because of the tone of the chirping. Like sometimes it sounds like they are asking a question to each other because the voice of the chirping goes up. Stuff like this, and you pick up on it automatically. You don't even need to concentrate on this, and suddenly your brain just tells you, hey, there's something going on here. And then you pay attention, and it instantly comes into your mind. Oh yeah, just an interesting phenomenon that I personally notice is normally when I get on a streak, there's always, at some point, I still see nudity, not on purpose, it just happens. It's like following me around. I will see it somewhere, maybe in TV, maybe on the internet, and then I quickly look away, and this boosts my energy. But you cannot seek this on purpose. It has to happen naturally if it happens, and you cannot control it. If you try to control it, you're playing with fire, and it's already indulgence. But if it just happens, and it's not your fault, then you see it, and you directly get like a scared feeling in your lower chakra, because this is something that goes against your discipline and your plans to stay on the streak, and you don't want to lose it. So you quickly look away, and later it transforms into even greater charisma, not because you saw something sexual by itself, but because you had the discipline to stay away from it as soon as you saw it, and you don't want to indulge in it, and this has an extra boost. Anything else? Well, when you reach the flatline, your power diminishes and normalizes. Like I said, even later you are over with the flatline, and you again get the benefits, but they're not as strong as before. You get especially strong benefits when you are a complete guna, and then you just start retaining, because you have all of this drive suddenly, because you're used to the hyper stimulation, and then you have a hyper drive. And so if you are in general better with corn and you can stay away easier, then you don't get the same hyper drive. It's just an interesting phenomena. So you need to somehow be able to some degree to work together with your drive and not repress it fully, because then you can get even more energy. And yeah, it is playing with fire to some degree, but if you have enough discipline and confidence in yourself, you will find a way that you're able to play with the fire. That you're able to play with the fire and not get burned, and transform it into even greater power. Just want to tell you, do with this what you want. And also, I hate those people that are like, hey, this guy is not good for you, he is just pushing you to relapse, he's encouraging you to relapse, you should stay away from him. I think if you're so weak that you cannot listen to some information or someone talking about his experience with attraction of a girl, that he directly wants to relapse, this is not my fault. This is the fault of the person, and this means he is not having a sustainable streak anyway. Because this is sick, rigid that you directly, because of every crap, will lose your streak and relapse. This is on you, bro. Get some discipline that you're able to still be exposed to content, I mean information, and not directly relapse, because if not, then you're just a weirdo, honestly. This cannot be true that you're so weak. And also this is a valuable information because it's my real observations, and it's like a science, and humans need always to explore stuff and not ignore stuff to understand everything properly that is going on. It's possible that you are getting rigid when you're on a streak because you are so much into discipline and trying to control everything that's due to personal, maybe one chakra has too much energy or negative energy, but this is personal stuff for every person. This is different because NoFap does not erase your issues that you have to work through. It does not erase your traumas, your negative thought patterns about how the world is, your assumptions about women, your assumptions about other people or whatever. That you think you're above other people, that you're arrogant or whatever. Any such stuff, if you have this, or you're too aggressive, you're too angry, this is on you. Find what is wrong with you and learn and process. Only this is how you can get better. Because my experience when I'm on a streak is normally always good. Sometimes I have the rigidness, and then I know I have to do something about it. Then I have to circulate my energy. But that's on me. I do how I think is best, you do what you think is best. Like I said, probably Kundalini energy sometimes can help as well. But I think Kundalini energy also just makes more rigid sometimes, and it doesn't help you in getting more connected to your emotions. Yeah, I know sometimes when I would relapse and then I would get on the streak again, at some point I would have to cry because I process something emotionally, but it always happens already when I'm a few days into my streak again. Or I hear something. This time I heard about someone's experience with trafficking, that he saw young children that they were trafficked, and he was crying in his video when talking about it, and he made me also cry because I felt his emotions and the impact of everything. And that's interesting because when you cry, also your eyes have a greater glow afterwards, and they are more delayed. And normally this has always great effect on charisma. I just say the way it is. Before I go to the bar, today is students bar again, I also always take kratom because it helps me. I heard kratom can also help me. For me, it helps me with being more social. But I heard for some people it also helps with being able to last longer in bed. But this is not for what I'm taking it. Just as a side note. And yesterday I was not high finally. Previous time I still wasn't able to stay away from the weed, but yesterday I did it finally. And it felt very good because I had such a peace of mind, and I realized I'm still a bit high even if I'm not taking weed. Because all the colors were still more vibrant, but the difference to being high is that I had still a clarity of mind, so this was great. So this is also part of my discipline, that I want to do less of the weed. I realize it has not really much to teach me anymore, so I will do it less now. But it's not always easy when you're so used to it, and normally it's part of your habit, of course.
Here's the left one, your magnificence.
Luckily for you, you didn't lose it. You have no idea how much these things cost. You run around in your own carefree world, selfishly oblivious to the consequences of your actions. And who's left to pick up the pieces, eh? Now, where's that eye? Oh,
What have you broken?